Well, hello there, YouTube. Little finches flying around out here invading their territory. Look how far south that sun is. It was way like over in here. It comes almost straight over us in the middle of summer. And here pretty soon it's just going to rise and fall over there in the southern sky. It just never peeks out over top of us ever. Then summer comes back around and around and around and around. The seasons come, the seasons go. Man, is it gorgeous out here. 41 degrees was the low last night. It's a 51 now. The nights are getting warmer as we're getting closer to the rain, which is supposed to start tomorrow. And so we got that stove is going to show up. It could show up tomorrow, but yeah, we're having it come on Friday. Just try to, so we can sort everything out. Anyway, enough of that. Let's roll to work. 56 degrees, partly cloudy. And we made it to hump day. How about that?
Yeah.
The bump in the week.
Yep. Just gotta get on the other side.
Yeah, it'll happen fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mama,
Just a hug.
let's go in there and bust out a Wednesday, shall we?
All right.
Let it go on that Harley, dragging them feet. There's some boots all wearing out, son of a guns.
Mm-hmm.
I just never have figured out. You aren't in control with your feet dragging on the ground.
I know.
Somehow or they think
Give
they
them
are.
Comfort or something.
I don't know.
Everybody does stuff different.
Yeah. Well, Mama,
Yes, a hub.
I'll see you as the day goes on.
All right.
All right. Love you. See you. Bye.
I love you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
You would not believe the massive amount of cleaning it took. I don't know if you guys could see through all the hoses and everything last night, but you all but couldn't see that clutch cover. Well, this thing needs to be cleaned before you take it off. So you got to get all that dirt that collects all in these cracks and all up around there in between the cylinders, around the starter. Oh, this is that lower drain bolt. John was talking about draining his, flushing his coolant out. He didn't know about that secondary. Well, actually, there's even more. There's some drains for the cylinders. There's a drain on the cylinders that'll dump the water out of that. Not a whole lot comes out of that. So if you did the radiator in a normal way, that's more than enough. There's a knock sensor. But anyway, man, what a mess. Had to clean my glasses off. I mean, because you gotta get in here and blow all that out, loosen it up with, I used an entire can, of this Maxima contact cleaner. And yeah, that's a mess. Huge mess. And then I got the graduation marks in the deal. There was question whether this thing was overfilled or not. So I'm doing the oil and filter. You should always do that when you're taking the whole clutch cover apart. You want them filters to catch anything that moves around in there, because everything goes to the filters first before it spreads anywhere else. But you can see whoever's been doing the oil changes on this thing hasn't been cleaning in between. That was like a half a can. That was just completely black. You couldn't even see it, because that HCM filter right here, get the thing pointing in here, it there, it dumps all the oil. It rolls down the fins. I rag it up and then I cleaned it off each time, but it's so baked on there over the years that it's just not coming off. So he's got new filters, tanks drain, the engines drain. There'll be probably a half a quart or so that comes out on the clutch, maybe a little bit more. But I drained the two drains, the two filters, and it was exactly 1 quart overfilled. It had exactly 5.5 quarts in it. And even the oil change kit, it comes with 4.5. Usually, if it was super hot when you drained it, you can almost get 4.5 in there, but it's usually, about 200 milliliters out of that half quart. That's how I ended up with all those. They used these kits used to come with a 1 gallon and one of these. Now they give you 4 quarts and the little half quart. And we'd have so many of those. Probably, no, I used up one yesterday. But you'd have these little bottles that are, you know, partially full. And, you know, we try to give them to the customers, and, you know, some of them would take them because you'd have, what you would do the next oil change, you would use the, you know, you'd use a bottle up. And then over time, you just end up with all these full bottles. You know, they're all sealed. And anyway, so that's what Ryan used on dirt bikes and everything else. You know, it's paid for. It's not like anything's being stolen. You offer it to the customer, they don't take it. But a lot of guys with the twins, you know, I'd give them, you know, the guys that would ask, I'd give them like a couple. As you can see here, you know, the 1330s, you know, a lot of times they'll use the whole, on those, they're 5.5 quarts. But you can see I still have, 5 bottles sitting there that are full. And like this guy, I'll probably throw a couple of them in there for him. But it's going to use more oil than this, like I say, because when I dump that clutch cover, it's just going to come heaving out of there. And anyway, we get that done. Like I say, still got the ACS, still got the brakes to flush, which I'll do that because you can see because nobody puts the vents correctly on those cups, and you can see all the grunge that's built up. That's the bottom of the reservoir. So while I have this off doing the ACS pump, I will do the brakes because I can clean that reservoir up real good and get it starting off with a fresh, you know. But it's just a lot of steps to get into this. And the one tricky one is this bolt. I can even point it out to you. It's behind the exhaust right here. You got to take the clamp, slide the clamp down, and what I do, I just reach in there and I bow the exhaust far enough, because I can get in there with a ball. I use these Snap-on, or actually they're Allen brand Allen wrenches. I use a 5mm ball head and knock it loose and get it out. And it won't clear the exhaust. So this header, and you know where it's going into the collector, with everything loose, there's a little flex in it, and I flex it enough. It's just enough. It just about clears. You bow it a little bit. Boom. Man, whatever you do, don't forget to put that thing in before you bolt everything up. 2 things. You're gonna have to undo everything to get it back. And should you totally forget it, yeah, she leaks like a sieve. One of them bolts are missing or not tight, she'll leak. It's got 500 screws going around there. It's got a whole series of 5mm, and across the bottom I think there's 4 6mm Allens. If you get an oil leak and it's not leaking from anywhere, it's not coming from the normal weep off of the valve covers, they just all do it. It's a rough cast engine, you know, just like the KTMs were back in the day. And how they hold oil at all, I have no idea. But as you know, it's like the 1330s, all that's changed. But I lost where. Oh, if you got an oil leak and it hits that little small pan that sits in here, it's on the ground over there, and it's dripping there, but you don't see it anywhere else. I've seen these oil pressure switches will bleed internally. I didn't see any obvious sign his was doing that. It was wet, but that's because it's coming out of the weep hole, hitting here, rolling forward, and the wind blows everything back. It just makes a big mess. But that's one thing you're used to with the old 990s. They, throw a piece of cardboard or a drip pan underneath there in your garage because they weep. And you spend a lot of money fixing them, but they're just going to weep again. But this is pretty excessive. That will literally It just, when it's running, it'll literally sit there and go bloop, bloop. They're small leaks, but small leaks add up really quick, especially when you're on a trip. So anyway, let me get this thing apart. Get the water pump seal in there and get her back together and do all the other stuff that needs to be done to it. And we'll roll from there. You should have seen the mess I had out here. The mess I had to clean up. And all the mess. Oh, I got that one pan. This is the pan I was talking about. It's one of these. It's that little small triangle one but it goes on the left side. I was talking about the right one. You can see it sitting right there. See, look at the amount of grunge that's on that thing. It's just thick with oil that has absorbed dirt, just like this one, and it just collects. We don't have a solvent tank down here anymore, so I can't clean them out. You gotta be careful. It's got to be, safe for rubbers and stuff. But look, even though I've cleaned that thing off, all the dirt is just falling from everywhere. It's a mess. But remember well, you'll remember. But get your quarts of oil. Don't hide your oil from yourself, especially when you're doing a motor job. Leave everything out. I'll leave the box sitting here. I'll leave my coolant, my brake fluid. Leave everything out. If you turn around and go, why is these small? Oh yeah, don't hit the start button, dummy. You got no coolant in it. You got no oil in it, or whatever the case may be. All right, I was just stopping to breathe some fresh air, even though I had the wind tunnel thing going through here. I can still smell that brake cleaner. It's pretty strong. I'm gonna go up there and get me a sugar-free hot chocolate-y thing there. That's my little treat of the day. And I'll regroup, get some fresh air in my lungs, and maybe all that stuff will evacuate out of here. I've changed all the towels, so nothing's soaked with the brake cleaner anymore. Oh, last night when I was draining the radiator there, I had the rack sitting too high, and I was having a hard time reaching up and loosening the radiator cap. I'm not sure if I'm pointing at that or not, but loosen the radiator cap. So in my Weisenheim, and I thinking, hold the bucket out here a ways, and I reach up there and boop, I thought I'd break the first seal and let it drain slow. Well, the first seal was the big seal, and it came just straight out. It landed like here in the middle of the floor. That was a nice mess to clean up. That's all green coolant soaked rags. It is amazing how coolant does evaporate. You thin it out enough, it'll just evaporate. All right, back to it. Another TikTok day on a thing that hasn't existed in, well, now it's 13 years, because the 26s are starting to creep out now. It's crazy. Actually, they lasted until 2014, but that was in the not GS. Is that what they called them? The GSs and the RSs. No, the RS and the STs. The GS became an RS, Roadster Sport, and then the ST was the Sport Touring, which was just a GS or an RS with a little fairing kind of stuff on them. Hugely unpopular. I don't know why them things. They were hugely unpopular. They seemed to run a little hotter for some reason. A lot of people complained that a lot of heat coming off of them. All these twins, a lot of heat comes off of them. That's why people block that door off. You block that door off and it smokes that oil seal back there. I was talking to a guy at BRP years ago, and they were doing some tests, and the engine runs way too hot. They'll start weeping from gaskets worse than they normally do, but it'll take that oil seal out, and it ends up being a mess. Oh, here's what the water pump looks like. But unfortunately, this thing's it's driven in you can see the impeller here. This is in the case that way, and that's being driven. There's a gear with a pin that goes back here. Well, the oil seal is right here. So you have to drive, the oil seal is behind the mechanical water pump seal. So you got to drive it out. Well, when you drive it out, it destroys. These are not reusable mechanical water pump seals. Not reusable. So you got to drive them out and it destroys them. So you have to replace that. And this is what you're after, is that gray water pump seal. And that's sitting in the case. And I see people get mistaken. You got to remember, the pressure of the seal is from the engine cases out. So your first thought would be to put the seal in like this, but you don't. You put it in the other way because you're fighting the forces to keep the oil out. And you can look at, when you pop it out, the seal comes with the whole shaft and stuff, so you can see how it's in there. This is a check valve for his ACS pump. This is that new impeller that came out in 2013, I want to say. Something to do with that relief hole in there made a difference. So unless we know we've done a water pump seal on it in that time, as we have no record of this thing. And I know by how this was assembled that was assembled yesterday. It's never been apart, and you got to take all that out to get to the clutch cover. So it always gets a new impeller. And this is for that lug nut looking thing that's under the cover here. And anyway, that's the water pump seal. That's it right there. It's the old one dangling upside down at the moment. And this is for this outer cover, and they're one use. You can't use them again. And I got two of these. These are the seals. Those look like BMW S1000 RR drain bolt washers. But anyway, that's for that banjo fitting for that hydraulic line. And this is the sealing washer. This is the drain bolt on the bottom of that water pump housing. That's the little one there. And this one, I believe it's this bolt here. It could be that one. You know, I think it is one of the lower ones. I don't see it. Maybe it is that one right there, because that's actually a tranny lock thing. But anyway, one of those has a washer. You always replace those. Always. And then of course the big valve cover gasket or clutch cover gasket. Well, cloud's starting to roll in out there. So there she is. It's probably been a couple years or so since I had one of these apart and showed you what's going on. So this is the gear that drives the water pump. And there's the crankshaft. This is a counterbalancer. I think it swings over to the other side and does other things. I don't remember. There's your oil pump gear. There's your shaft coming across over there. And there's your clutch. And behind this clutch pack is the centrifugal clutch these old gals had. And then this is that diaphragm. There's the connection. And that's what the HCM hydraulically pushes the clutch. And if you had a SM5 instead of this diaphragm thing that goes back and forth in here, there would be a regular slave cylinder that actuates that. Pretty cool. And then there's the cover. I did some more cleaning on it, and that's the way where the impeller goes in. I was showing you guys earlier from the outside what this looks like. And here's, I think I was explaining that seal backwards to you. That's the direction the seal goes. So the open end goes in first, and then you drive. And as you can see, with the punch and the hammer, you go through those holes on the other side, and you can see where it damages the seal. And you can't, because there's a special sealant that's on that water pump, or a mechanical seal. It can only be used once, plus you just whacked it with a hammer. So you get the seal in, you put this in. There's a special tool that fits that outer ring of that seal, and you drive it in, the mechanical seal. This goes in just like a regular oil seal, but that needs to be facing up when you're going in. I got somebody at the gate. Well, them new batteries and that fob sure made a big difference. So off to the side here, this right here is the infamous weep hole. So whether the coolant, if it leaks oil, which is the biggest thing with this, comes through, goes that way. If the mechanical seal fails, it's in between the oil seal and the mechanical seal, so it'll weep. So you can see that hole is halfway between the coolant side and the oil side. And this cover is sitting on the engine like this, and that's why I always point at that starter motor boss right around that corner. That is the weep hole. Grab a flashlight, I can show you. That's the weep hole. And this is where you drive the old one out. You just go step by step by step. You go back and forth. You want it to evenly come out. You want to just go crazy banging on it. And that hole you just seen the light in. And that's what was going on with this mostly, is the oil weeping out, runs along there, and just goes everywhere. You've seen the mess. Makes a big old mess. Holy moly. Clutch cover bolts, always lay everything out so it goes back the same way it came in. That's the banjo bolt for the hydraulic clutch actuator. And that's all controlled by the HCM that's on the other side, which is computer controlled. So now, drive the new seal in, drive the new pump in, and this is the gear. When this goes through, it's sticking out on the inside, and you have this washer, and then this pin goes through, and then this thing clicks on. Spin the hole so it's right. And this thing just clicks onto that pin, and then this drives the water pump from just driving right off of that counterbalancer gear, just right there. It's all so simple but so complex. Again, I got tools scattered everywhere. Good old, this is how I get the spring off of the exhaust. It's hung down on the bottom half. You just pry it up and just squeeze her down with a pair of actual vice grips. The real meal deal. These things, man, they got to be 40 plus years old. They're very, very old. I've got a small size, this size, regular vice grips. It was part of a toolkit my dad gave me when my tools got stolen in 1984. And they could have been new then, so I guess that would make them 36 years old. It's crazy. When you went to get vice grips back in those days, in the early mid 80s, if he bought them then, there wasn't a whole lot of other companies making vice grips. Vice grip was vice grip. Now they're all fancy, and they got Allen key holes in the end so you can tighten them down while they're attached. All kinds of good stuff. So I managed to fumigate myself again. So taking some fresh air. I just went outside on the drain barrel out there, and I just lay that, it's a big grid. I just lay it up there, and I was just using an old toothbrush, brake cleaner. Went through 2 cans now. It's not that bad either. I mean, it's bad nowadays, but it used to be like $2 or $3. Now it's $11 a can, but it lasts a long time. It's crazy how long it lasts. So I've probably 2 cans, because I had a half a can and 2 full cans. So I went through 2 cans. That's a lot of our. I don't know why we don't have solvent tank things working here, but you know, this time of the year when it's winter, you're not going to get anything like that. Nobody wants to spend any money this time of year. Can't blame them. And with all the crazy stuff that's going on, it's slower than usual. Who knows how this is all going to come out? Kind of scary. But there she is. The worst job is just getting it out. Getting to this point where you drive the thing back. Now you reverse and put all this stuff back together again. Of course, I got extra stuff to do to it as well. So I changed the delivery of the stove to Friday, because I have to be there when the guy shows up, and it's a 4-hour window. I think they're initially saying between noon and 4. Well, that doesn't make it practical for me to drive to work. In that, I mean, showed up at noon. You know, how long is that all going to take? I don't know. So we're taking Friday off. Well, I think I am. I got to. Oh, I need to go check on that right quick. But anyway, sorry if I'm acting weird. Just breathing fumes. It's you can't escape it. You need almost a respirator. But I'm overly cautious with that. I mean, you're not weirded out or freaked out. You can just tell it's in your system, and it's not good. Even out there in the air that's moving by, it still gets you. When I was cleaning here initially, I had the fans just blasting through here. It's like a wind tunnel, and still, your face is right there in it. But all right. Well, hello there, YouTube. Clouds are definitely coming in. Doesn't look like it. I don't know when it's going to start raining, but earlier I was looking at, it's like through 3 a.m. There's still no chance of rain, but it sure looks like could rain at any moment.
I know.
Oh well, it's coming. That time of year, it's definitely coming.
Yep.
But anyway, that's fun. Other than having to take breaks to
be able to breathe.
Yeah, not get intoxicated down there. It was fun. And I think on that, we're just gonna slip on out on you.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give her a thumbs up. You guys have a wonderful Thursday or Friday.
Heck yeah. We'll see you in the morning.
Yes, we will.
All right. Thanks for watching now. Bye-bye.